Hi guys, it's Yvette here with another layout. I'm going to do a double layout tonight, and here's my photos I'm going to use. I'm going to use white cardstock as my base, and I've got 4 landscape photos and 2 portrait photos. 6x4, they're all 6x4 with border. And one of them I've left colour because it's got pink in it, lots of pink tones, which is what I'm using tonight. So I'm actually using the new January 2021 collection for Uniquely Creative, which is Serendipity. I've got a couple of strips of paper that I've pre-torn and cut, and my idea was to do a top and bottom edge thing and a little bit of a ruffle with that one that I've got, the spotty one that I'm pointing to there. But I end up changing it a little bit, and I end up putting the ruffle bit on the bottom. So that's how it turns out. So here, we're going to start with doing a little bit of mixed media. I just wanted something else on the cardstock, because just little strips of paper wasn't quite enough. So I've got some Distress Oxide inks, I've got spun sugar, I've got picked raspberry, and I've got mustard seed. And I am trying to make a little bit of a peachy colour to match in with the papers. So obviously it's going to be quite a lot darker, so I'm just going to spray a whole bunch of water and water it down. And it's not exactly the same, but it's the right tone with a little bit of yellow in it. So I have just used one of my little mixed media palettes, which is a pre-printed palette on just a piece of A4 paper, and then I've laminated it, and I use that as my palette to do my paint and things, and they wipe clean really easily, and they're easy to use and keep clean. So I'm just doing a line. So what I'm thinking of when I'm working like this is where my paper's going to end, and I just want some interest coming out from underneath that paper on the top and the bottom. So that's what I'm doing here. I do have to go back and do it again in some spots because the paper covers most of it up, but I just start out by getting the basics done, and I'll set that aside to dry, and then I'll go back later and add some extra. So next up, I'm going to fuss around with the papers and get them organised into what order I'd like them to be in. Some are thicker than others, so I've got to decide which bits I want on the top and which bits I want on the bottom. So I just use double-sided tape to tape them together and get them into one chunk, and then we'll add them to the layout shortly. I've decided to add a black background to the white pieces, so I'm just rolling some paper towel on those splatters so that they dry quickly, and I've cut my white down just a tiny bit too, so I can add the black border, the black cardstock underneath. I'm going to have to cut down those little ruffles as well. So I'm just going to adhere this together and finish using my paint, adding a little bit of extra stuff, and we'll move on. Okay, Polly has to join in. She likes to get in the middle of my work, especially when there's wet paint involved. So I've just finished doing the painting, and now I'm going to adhere those ruffles and torn pieces. I'm just trimming the ends off the white before I adhere that to the black cardstock. So I'll do the same on this side, and we'll adhere everything, and then we'll add the photos shortly. So I'm just adding the photos here, and I'm just going to tuck them underneath the ruffles, the torn edges a little bit so that they fit nicely. And I am mostly covering up my little bit. Oh, Polly again has to be in there. Hop off, Polly. Hop off. Come on. I know I have to cover up a fair bit of my mixed media, but there's still some peeking out. I've got this little wood laser cut thing. It's from Celebrate, and it's got quite a nice saying and some little cute borders. So I'm going to colour that with some paint, and I'm going to add this as well for some interest. The leaf, the wooden leaf on the right hand side down the bottom that's sitting on my page, I was going to use that because the photos are from a retreat that I recently attended and taught some classes at, and it was one of the little embellishments that we were given on one of our gifts that was left on the table for us, which was really sweet, and I thought I'd use it on the layout, but in the end I go with something else, and this is the little laser cut that I'm going to colour up right now. So I just mix up some paint the same as I did before to colour it, and try and get the same sort of tone, maybe a little bit darker so that it stands out a little bit on here. But first I decide that it might look nice with some black ink on it. So I use one of the border pieces and I colour it with a sponge dauber and a little bit of black ink, and just try it on there. I can't really tell whether it would look good or not. I thought it might set it off nicely because there's the black border around the edge with the black cardstock underneath. But when I do a whole piece and put it on, I just feel like it's too heavy and it takes over. So I turn it over and actually colour it with the oxide ink that I mix up instead. So I'm just adding some chipboard. That's Polly in the corner with her paws, trying to help me out there. I'm just using some tacky glue to adhere the chipboard pieces that I've coloured up. I decided to put it straight on top of the photo because there was nowhere else to put it. And I don't mind because it's just a scenery photo and it looks quite nice on there. So this is the final layout. Thanks for staying with me through this because I did leave a fair bit of footage in there. I hope you will have a go at making this layout. Here's Polly, my helper. Thanks for watching. Here's some close-ups. And you'll notice in the close-ups that I have added some coral pearls and some silver foam stars. So I just thought it needed a little something extra on there. See you in the next video. Bye.